Oh, it's finally fall. Isn't it great?
It is fall.
Best time of year. Let's see, invocation, Mark Reynolds.
That'd be me. Good morning.
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 All right. So some of the news and some of the stuff going on in the world, especially in Germany this week. I thought we'd have a little special blessing here, hopefully. But if everybody would join me in prayer here. Dear God, thank you for this group of friends who are gathered here in the name of Rotary. In a time of division, strife, and violence, thank you for an organization that strives for peace, friendship, and understanding. Help us today to live up to these lofty goals and to make our small corner of your world a better place. In your name, amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the things we think, say, and do,
Is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Chris, you're up.
We have two visiting Rotarians today. From the Summit Club, we have Deborah Friedman. Yay! And from the Raleigh Club, Carl Davis.
Carl is the Major Gifts Officer for Rotary International, and he covers our zone. He lives in Garner. He's a member of the Rotary Club of Raleigh, and we're always happy to have him with us. So
Thank you. It's always
welcome,
good
Carl.
to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Mike, would you like to introduce the newest member?
Well, he will be
We'll
inducted.
do that.
They're going to be inducted.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, birthdays and anniversaries.
One moment, can you, my sheet is out here.
Uh-oh. Okay.
No sheet.
Another announcement real quick. Tonight is Airport Rotary's annual fundraiser and it's a speakeasy at Dia, I believe. Is that correct? Yes. Yeah, great. And it sounds like a fantastic time. Anybody that's looking to really impress their significant other tonight would like to do something kind of out of the ordinary for a great cause. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic party. It's probably not nearly on the scale of ours, in the Derby party, but it will be a lot of fun. Okay, Rick?
Yes, sir. Finally ready, Mr. President. Good morning, Gate City. We got some birthdays and anniversaries today to celebrate. Club anniversary, Mr. Jeff Tillman. Let's see, on the 9th, yesterday, you had a club anniversary. How many years? You want to look that up? I'm just counting on you, man. Come on. 4. 5? That's exactly right. 5 years. Oh, man. And Tony, is Tony here this morning?
Yes.
There he is. Happy birthday to Tony yesterday. Yes, sir. Happy birthday. And we want to call you out on how many. Happy birthday, Tony. And Mr. Mark Reynolds. There he is. Yes, sir. Let's see. Tomorrow, don't forget tomorrow, you got wedding anniversary?
yeah.
Glad we brought this up. Yeah. Oh, I knew there was something going on. How many years you doing there? 21. That's great. Well, congratulations. Mr. President, that is it for birthdays and anniversaries.
Thank you, Rick.
Yes, sir.
Guys, we're collecting cans for the Out of the Garden project that's going to be donated at Big Stock. So, yeah, for Rush. And, so please bring your canned goods. There will be a box here to collect. We're going to keep just kind of a big box ready to go and everything. And take it up. For Big Stock West. John Spillman's been running this deal for a long time, and we need to bring some food. So, Guy brought a can. Congratulations.
No, this is not my can.
Oh.
This was a can that was donated by somebody. Don't give them to me, put them in the box.
All right. Good deal.
Where's the box?
It's in my car. I'll bring it in the car. I didn't realize you were supposed to have lots, but I do have some in my car.
That's a good way to get people to take it to your car. That's a great idea. That's smart.
So, we are trying very, very hard with Out of the Garden program to provide, being non-perishable food. We're trying hard to provide healthy non-perishable food. So if you do bring in canned goods, could they please be low sugar, low sodium, as healthy as possible, being non-perishable. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Christy.
Yep.
The Get to Know Rotary that's going to be at Claudia Frank's house is scheduled for October 23rd. We're focusing on asking ladies to come and get involved. So if you don't have to be a lady to get somebody to come, but it would be nice if we could get a good crowd there to their house and get some interest in Rotary. Judy, would you like to?
I'm going to send out another email to all the ladies in the club and just kind of giving them more details. And also I'll send a group one out to everybody, so if they wanted, it's going to become like an invitation. If they want to pass it along and share it, we want it not to be like an open house, we want it to be good qualified Rotarian, you know what I mean? And we're also going to ask for the ladies in the club to bring a bottle of wine and an appetizer, but I'll reach out to them about that. And that way it'll save everybody money. Right. So anyway, we really appreciate it. Everybody put on your thinking caps and start thinking about a good qualified members firm.
Thank you, Judy. In addition to the football pools that are on the table, there's also a list for people that want to go to Pigstock, which is everybody in the club. So go ahead and pre-order your tickets now. Go ahead and put your name on the list. We'll have tickets. Rick will be handing those out.
They're on the table right now. And so pass those around. We'll pick them up at the end of the meeting. And you can pre-order your tickets. Save $5 if you order them up front. You can also order them with an online site. So it's at the bottom of the table to order them. And we'll keep these on the tables for the next few weeks. But like less than a month away.
That's right. It's coming up quickly. Billy, you got your coffee now?
I do.
Ready to talk about service project?
Just had to make an entrance. Thank you, everybody that was there last weekend. Tree does have a new roof. There's a few little things they wanted to do this weekend upcoming, but they'll be done with that. I asked them if they need anybody else, and they said they've got it covered right now, but I'll let you know if that changes. So thank you to everybody that was there. It was hot Friday, but nobody fell off the roof, so we're thankful for that. I did send an invite out for the Bikes for Kids bill, so that's going to be coming up in early November. If you'd like to be a part of that, I've sent that sign up out. They've got select spots for each day, so just try to partner up. And like I said, if you can put in the notes there GCR, so that if you want to partner up with somebody else in the club, you can easily do that. So,
You know what
thank
that
you.
date is, Billy?
It's a full week, and it's I think from the 3rd to the 8th, maybe.
I think
Now, it's all in the evening,
fourth to the
too.
ninth.
4th to the 9th.
And it's all in the evening too, right? 4 to 8.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Should be pretty straightforward. No, don't have to be a mechanic. It's pretty straightforward. So thank you.
Easy stuff. Football pool. Can we go ahead and do that?
Right here?
All right.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got several things going on with the football pool. First of all, it's the Neat Coffee in the Morning Award. This person filled out the college thing, did not fill out the NFL, did not pick the tiebreaker, but gave me the points and didn't write their name. They get the award, if I can do the award. Rookie of the Week award. Mike Swain has never played before, and he got 15 right.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's
He's
unusual.
a winner. So that was a good time, since he doesn't know anything about football. You did a good job. Thanks for making the scoring easy. I had a tie. Kelly Harrow and Richard Needham. I had to go the tiebreaker, and what they did is they just selected all these home teams for the NFL games. That was easy. You want peanut or plain?
I did it again this week.
Peanut or plain?
Peanut.
There you go. All right, now I think we're into the other things. The Bad Score Award. So overall, first of all, Bentley and Assumption was a 45-42 score. Assumption won in overtime. So, lost, but I did not put Bentley on again though, so don't worry. Because the other team, South Connecticut State, and I could not get all that on yet, so I'll get it. But, so the award for, I rebranded the award for the worst score. Something along the lines of the award for the worst dog show, for the worst dog in the show, after Bobby's, now where's, Buster, congratulations.
Buster! Wow! That's unusual.
What did I do? You got the worst score, you got 10.
Oh, no.
So you got the award for the worst dog in the show. There we go, you got it right. All right, so this is the Oops Award. Got all the colleges, got all the NFL. Did not indicate who the tiebreaker winner was. And if they had and got it right, they would have won with 17. But you didn't circle
I did that
who they selected for the tiebreaker. And that goes to Chris Neal.
a couple weeks
He's
ago.
not here to get some
And I
peanuts.
would have won.
Sorry, Chris. The highest, so we had 3 other people with 17 scores, with 17. There was Rob Midget, Richard Needham, and
You
Tom
did good this
Phoenix.
time?
And Rob Midget, you got the winner.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow!
Would you like to say a few words?
Well, I would.
That's
Thank
enough.
you, Dennis. As they say, you got to know the losers to be able to pick the winners.
Are we done? You're up?
Yes.
It's a great day in our club. We're inducting a couple of new members. John, Mike, can you guys come up? Jeff, Danielle. Judge is going to say a few words. We've got some work where to pass out.
Didn't go.
Somebody has to find a second.
Yep.
As our inductees are coming forward, I would like to invite their sponsors to introduce them by name and say a few words about them. Governor Conrad.
This is John Holland, and so proud that he is going to be joining our club. He is a 2015 graduate of High Point University, and he was very active at High Point University in student government, played lacrosse, and then he went on to work for Aetna in Tampa for a couple years. Did such a good job, they moved him to Jacksonville the next 2 years and got himself on the board of the YMCA there. And then he was stolen away by Corey Newton and Marsh McClendon. So he has come back to Greensboro. His wife, she's from Greensboro, is that right?
Not originally, but lives here now.
But she's a High Point grad as well.
Yep.
And they enjoy traveling, and so we're so happy. To me, this is the future of Rotary. So we're happy to have John as a new member.
So Danielle Eakin is founder, CEO of her own business, Work Life Solutions. And if you'll remember when she first came to visit our Rotary, I don't think it's ever been done before. She brought cookies for me. So I don't have a good bio to give you on her. She's very sharp and a very savvy business owner, and we're delighted to have you with us.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jeff. Well, since 1991, Gate City Rotary has been meeting here each Thursday morning, bringing professions and vocations together in the service of others, just as Rotary International has been so doing for over a century. At this time, we do welcome John and Danielle. We welcome you not just for the fellowship you bring to us each Thursday morning here, but also for your strong arms and sturdy backs as you extend that presence out into the community and into the world with the service opportunities that will be afforded to you that we look forward to your engagement with. At these times, as we bring new members in, we are each mindful of when we joined, the reasons we joined, the opportunities and occasion, and what we try to carry through each day. And it's also at this time important to be mindful of what Rotary is and what Rotary is not. First of all, Rotary is not a political organization, but it is an organization dedicated to the finest tenets of citizenship and to the encouragement of good men and women to seek and serve in public office. Rotary is not a religious organization, yet it is founded and continues to be dedicated to those timeless values and precepts that are embodied in our own four-way test, as well as those values which in fact were the basis of our own country's founding. And Rotary is not a charitable organization, but there are innumerable opportunities for us to serve and to give back financially, supportively, philanthropically, and by service in the ways of service to the health and well-being of not only our community and to others, but even internationally around the world. Well, Rotary is an organization whose members are dedicated to the highest ethical standards of their professions and the highest values, as previously noted, embodied in our four-way test. We come together for the benefit of others. So at this time, for delivery of the following charge, I would ask all of us present to stand. John and Danielle, each of you have been offered and admitted to membership in the Gate City Rotary Club because you have been shown and demonstrated to have embodied the very values of which we speak, which you bring to this club. You are, in fact, ambassadors of your profession, of your vocation, of your professional and personal orbits, if you will, of your life. In turn, you will now be an ambassador of Rotary that you will take back in all things that you say and do. And with that in mind, we welcome you warmly into the family and fellowship of Rotary, and let's give them all a warm welcome. President Howe has some hardware for you.
Mike? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I don't have my cheat sheet, but I think I know what it is. All right, it is a real honor and a pleasure for me to introduce our speaker this morning, immediate past district governor Claudia Cannady. I think most of you know her. I don't even have her bio in front of me, but I think I know enough about Claudia to be able to speak very freely, and because she has done so many wonderful things, not only in her professional life, but also as far as the Rotarian is concerned. She loves all things Rotary, and I would say, and has done all things Rotary. She has done many trips to India, to Thailand, to Haiti. There's England. She's been all over the world and done projects. I think the thing that she's going to relate to you today, and I think you all know, that Rotary's #1 humanitarian initiative is to eradicate polio from the face of the earth. And Claudia has been there and done that. She has been to India 2 different times, and she has administered those 2 precious drops in the mouth of a baby, so that child did not or does not have the fear of getting polio. So she has been there firsthand. So it's really an honor, and she's done, as I said, she's done everything Rotary, is a past district governor. She is an Arch Clump Society member. which means a lot of her donations have gone to polio, for the eradication of polio. So it's really a pleasure. So give a warm Rotary welcome to our own Claudia Cannady.
All right, now let's make sure that this is, okay, I think it is, let's see. I want to explain something. Mike, thank you for that nice introduction, but the thing that needs to be said is that Mike is our district Polio Plus chair. He is the go-to guy for polio this year, and so here I am giving his presentation. So,
They'll listen to you.
so if you like to thank Mike, because this is mostly his presentation, I added a few things, but not too many. All right, so, we had little idea more than 30 years ago when it was conceived by one Rotarian that perhaps there was some type of major project we could undertake that we would be able to end polio, eradicate polio in the Philippines. And when we did that, it then went on to the thought, well, maybe we can do it elsewhere. So in 1985, Rotary decided that we can eradicate polio globally. But we knew we couldn't do it alone and we needed partners. Well, those partners laughed at us. But then in 1987, World Health Organization, UNICEF, and Center for Disease Control said, you know, maybe what Rotary is doing makes sense. We can get together, partner, have the proper research abilities and expertise to tackle this together. So little did we know that it would be more than 35 years later. We're still working on it, but we are this close. And so what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to show a video, it's about 10 minutes, but it's very important. This video really covers the history of Rotary's involvement, what polio is, how it has used to afflict 350,000 children a year, how we decided to undertake this massive, really once in a lifetime and massive undertaking to eradicate a disease. How does it feel to be a part of an organization that has eradicated a disease? So we're going to show this video and then go into some more, let's see if it works.
Many years ago, we Rotarians made a promise to the children of the world to rid our planet of the scourge of polio. We keep our promises. And the eradication of polio remains Rotary's highest priority. In order to cross the finish line, we need to remain vigilant. As Rotarians, we need to continue to educate ourselves, our fellow members, and the public of the devastating effects of this virus on children and their families. It's my pleasure to share a special preview of Rotary's documentary, Drop to Zero. It's an in-depth look at the historic effort to eradicate polio. I know you'll find this film as meaningful as I do. Let's take a look.
हुआ सबसे ज़्यादा दुख हुआ कि आज हमारे भी दोनों पैर होते तो हम भी उस दुख ज़्यादातर हुआ.
I had a sore throat and a high fever. My dad took me to the doctor and they called my name and I got up and collapsed. And the doctor said, she has polio.
Đó không chế phơi nhưng mà chợt tay nó xuống chạy chạy nên cô chỉ đi mó cái mình lú đỏ nó nè.
Polio has preyed on humanity for thousands of years, moving around the world from person to person in an unbroken chain of infection. In the early 1950s, there was a particularly intense outbreak in the United States that crippled nearly 60,000 people.
It was really frightening because there was no vaccine and you never knew who was going to get polio. Everybody knew somebody who had the disease. It's been described as the AIDS of the time.
And in the park, precautions are taken to prevent gatherings of youngsters.
Parents wouldn't let their children go swimming. Movie theaters were closed. People were kept inside. Nobody knew what was happening.
What we know today is that polio is spread by contact with contaminated food, water, or human waste. When the virus multiplies in the intestines, many children will only suffer from mild flu-like symptoms. But in 1 in 200 cases, it travels to the spine, attacking nerve cells that control the muscles in the arms and legs, leaving the victim paralyzed. In the worst cases, the victim dies, unable to breathe or swallow. In 1954, at the height of the epidemic, Dr. Jonas Salk tested an injectable vaccine, which offered a first ray of hope. Approximately 5 years later, Dr. Albert Sabin developed an oral vaccine that was less expensive and easier to use. Humanity finally seemed to be gaining the upper hand.
Dr. Salk, you have said that eliminating polio is no longer a scientific problem. I take it you are correctly quoted.
Yes, Mr. Spivak. I think that it's a social and economic problem. The problem is not one of vaccine effectiveness, but one of vaccine use.
Jonas Salk was right. By 1979, 61 countries had used the 2 vaccines to eradicate polio, including the United States and Canada.
But in the rest of the world, we were still seeing 350,000 children paralyzed every year. So that was part of what contributed to the launching of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, to ensure that every single child benefits from vaccination. No child should have polio.
We come to this hour grateful for the achievements of the past.
The drive for global eradication came from a most unlikely source. Rotary International, a group of business and professional leaders dedicated to public service, was looking for a global project to celebrate its 75th anniversary.
Smallpox had been eradicated just 1 year before, so we decided to take on polio.
It seemed like an impossible dream.
When we first approached the World Health Organization about working with us to eradicate polio, they felt that we were amateurs, we didn't know what we were talking about, that we really didn't have anything to bring to the table.
So Rotary went it alone, supplying volunteers and vaccines for mass immunization programs around the world.
We knew that there was a vaccine that could be easily administered. It could be done by non-professional individuals by just putting 2 little drops into the child's mouth.
From Brazil to El Salvador, from Indonesia to the Ivory Coast. These initial campaigns were remarkably successful.
In 1979, we did a huge vaccination program in Philippines, 6 million children, and we found it worked.
And Rotary raised money for further campaigns.
If they exceeded that goal and raised $119,186,000. We're over goal!
Now, the World Health Organization took notice.
We went back to them and said, we've raised $248 million. Will you work with us to accomplish this? And at that point, the World Health Organization said, yes.
The fact that a volunteer organization can persuade public and private people to join us in this manner, I think says a great deal for mankind that it can be done.
In 1988, the World Health Organization launched a public-private partnership called the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, officially adopting Rotary's dream.
Without Rotary International lobbying and pressuring and forcing agencies to talk to each other and governments to talk to agencies, we never would have started the Global Polio Eradication Initiative.
The United Nations Children's Fund agreed to purchase and distribute vaccines. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control would serve as the program's global virus hunters.
You know, if you look at what's made a difference in terms of the progress, often political commitment has been a factor. And Rotary has been key in terms of motivating community leadership, political leadership, to get this job done.
The The World Health Organization would direct the program's strategy, and Rotary would continue to supply volunteers, raise funds, and act as the program's global advocate.
There were many skeptics. The sheer magnitude of vaccinating between 250 million and 400 million children every year, it's mind-boggling. It's the largest global health initiative in history, involving more people on the planet than any other initiative.
When the program started in 1988, the goal was to eradicate polio by the year 2000. Although the program missed its original deadline, the number of infected countries dropped from 125 to 9. To provide vaccine to remote areas, the polio program has built a globe-spanning network called a cold chain, which keeps the vaccine from spoiling. The cold chain begins with private sector drug companies that supply billions of doses of vaccine to UNICEF, which stockpiles, manages, and transports the vaccine to polio programs around the world.
It's very, very difficult at the best of times to be able to reach people consistently every month with a viable vaccine that you've kept at the right temperature and get to every household and reach every child, let alone in areas of civil crisis.
This has brought to the fore our need to ensure that we do not become complacent, because this is what the virus does. It surprises you.
As the global program closes in on the goal of eradicating polio, all the stakes get higher.
They'll say, we made a promise to the children of the world, and we haven't delivered yet, and we won't stop until we do.
We need each of you to advocate for continued support from government and elected officials, to talk to your fellow club members, family, and friends, to ask them to join you in making a financial contribution. Let's not forget that every donation to End Polio Now will be matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And finally, please encourage your district leaders to contribute district-designated funds. District-designated fund contributions will be matched 1-for-1 by the World Fund. And with a 2-to-1 Gates Foundation match, contributions of district-designated funds will yield a 6-to-1 match. These critical funds will save lives. That's our history, our vision, and our legacy. Rotary members had the audacity to start this campaign, and we won't stop until it's done.
So, looking at the face of Rotary in the past, you see on the screen the photos of 3 people. These are Rotarians in our district. Mark Krotz from the Stratford Club was afflicted with polio when he was 12 years old in 1944. He spent months at the polio emergency hospital in Hickory, even though he was a resident of Winston-Salem. Marcus Krotz was a district governor and a true Rotarian in every sense of the word. He passed away in June. And this program today, and what we're going to talk about further, is in his memory and in his honor. The second person is Ray Taylor. Ray was a member of the Pinehurst Club. Not only did he suffer and become victimized by polio as a child, but then recovered, but was then struck with post-polio syndrome and was wheelchair-bound in the latter years of his life. He was also a past district governor. Now the third picture is of John Schwartz. John joined my Rotary Club last Wednesday. Well, actually, last Friday. And when we had our social orientation at my house last Wednesday, and we were talking about Rotary and about polio and how it's our #1 immediate battle and fight, a light went on in his mind because he said, I had polio as a child, and I haven't talked about it for 20 years. He had no idea when he joined Rotary that our #1 campaign, immediate campaign, is polio eradication. John missed 2nd grade because he was in a hospital, bedridden. Now, his mother apparently had quite a bit of influence because he did get promoted to 3rd grade even though he missed 2nd grade. He's a pretty smart guy. So this is John. Maybe you all know John. He's a CPA and has a firm here in town. So what does it look like today? Today, what we're seeing is Rotary's effort around the world to immunize all the children in the world. As Mike said, I've been on 2 NIDs, National Immunization Days, one in 2015, the other in 2017. The one in 2017, 1 million volunteers vaccinated 100 million children one day. Wow. That volunteerism is what Rotary is supplying. Rotary is supplying volunteers and social awareness and media awareness and the opportunity to be able to have these National Immunization Days as well as ongoing immunization programs so that all the children in the world are reached. Now, Randy Perkins, our district governor, and by the way, Auburn, where are you? I know you're here. Raise your hand. Did Auburn leave? Okay, well, Auburn is, as you know, is District Governor Randy Perkins' daughter. She is the Club Polio Plus chair, and glad that she is here. But where do we stand in terms of the fight? Well, we have, so far this year, we've had 85 cases of the wild polio virus. Now, it's higher than last year. Last year, we had 26 for the entire year. So we've gone backwards a little bit, but not really. We're not really going backwards because our surveillance has increased. As more manpower, research takes place, we're able to have better surveillance and realize that there are cases uncovered. Now, there's another issue that we have to deal with. And right now, the wild polio virus is only in 2 countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan. But there's another issue going on, and that is vaccine-derived polio. This is where those children who've been immunized, it typically happens in under-immunized areas, where children might get the vaccine, the oral vaccine, but then it mutates, and it can then cause a form of polio because the vaccine is an oral vaccine, and it's a live, weakened vaccine that in certain cases has the ability to reproduce. Now, as soon as the wild polio virus is 0, the vaccine delivery is going to change from the oral version to the injectable. The injectable stops, it's a killed virus and is able to more effectively combat and control polio. But the problem is that it does not prevent transmission, which is why we have to get the wild polio eliminated, then we'll switch vaccines, and we have a 5-year plan starting in 2019 to 2023. That is the end game strategy that we will talk about. Now, in terms of what's involved in finishing this job, there are a lot of functional areas that have to be completed. And the reason I highlighted social mobilization is that is Rotary's part in this effort. We are supplying volunteers, we are making the awareness, and we are the advocate for the global polio eradication, and we're also fundraisers. Between Rotary and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in 2018, we supplied just about 40% of total polio eradication funding. And in 2018, Rotary had 150, this is according to the annual report, $150 million that we raised. The AIDS Foundation was $275 million. Over time, Rotary has invested over $1.2 billion, maybe it's $1.8 billion in this effort since 1978. So it is the dedication and the commitment that we as Rotarians have to finish this job. If we do not stop polio in 10 years, we could be back to over 200,000 or 300,000 cases a year. It must be stopped completely. So let's talk about what past District Governor Mike Conrad and the District Polio Plus Chair has in mind for our district in terms of what we're going to do. It is important that all of us contribute to the polio effort. And the goal is that every club would raise $60 per member or $1,500 if it's a small club. This club, however, is a little larger. So I know that I looked at Club Central, and I know that the goal for this club is $4,000 for polio. And I know you can do it, and hope that you do. Now, in memory of Mark Krotz, past District Governor Mark Krotz, who passed away recently in June, these are the goals that we're hoping every club will have. And it's so nice that Gate City has fulfilled this. You have a polio club chair, and that's Auburn, who I'm sorry, I thought she was here earlier, but she was.
She was.
And you put in a goal in Rotary Club Central. Thank you for that $4,000 goal. The other thing that is important, that every club contributes something. We don't have to worry about that with this club because we know what a good job you're doing. Then the next thing is to have a polio event. Now, World Polio Day is Thursday, October 24th. There will be a live stream from the Gates Foundation in Seattle that can be accessed, and some clubs are choosing to tune into this live stream to see what the activities are. It can be done individually as well. There'll be information coming across from the RI website about the World Polio Day. But also, your club, and I don't know if you plan on doing this, our club does it, where we have a world's greatest meal. And what we do for lunch is, instead of having our great lunch at Starmount Country Club, instead we just have a simple salad, a bowl of soup, and the money that we save from having that reduced lunch is then applied to our Polio Plus contributions. So, there's the World Polio Day that we just talked about, and it really does require everybody's effort. Now, I wanted to mention that this live stream on World Polio Day, October 24th, is going to be joined by over 50,000 people around the world. So it's a really interesting event. So in memory of Mark Krotz and the children of the world, let's finish this job. The end game strategy is to have every single child immunized around the world. Massive volunteers are required, and paid staff are required to do this, but we are getting the job done. And we thank you for your work and knowing that together we will end polio. Thank you. Now Mike is going to come up. Now you know how when Mike asks you to do something, the answer is always yes. So
on your table is this little half sheet.
Mike is better at going for the close than
And you know we have a goal, $4,000, and we're going to blow through that goal. There's no doubt about it. And whatever you choose to contribute will be matched 2-to-1 by Bill and Melinda Gates. So just remember that. And also remember, by filling out this form, my friend Tom Richardson, when we send this in, I will fill out the sheet that will give you credit towards your next Paul Harris Fellow. So you'll get your points associated with your, oh, thank you. I keep getting this. So please do think about the children of the world. And just, you see on that sheet, just for 60 cents, we can immunize one child, but then when you parlay that up, it's incredible in terms of the impact that we have. So I know this club's going to blow through that. $1,500 is low ball for Gate City, for sure. So thanks so much. And you'll see these forms again if you don't give me one back.
He'll find you.
Do you have a question?
I was just going to say, I'll let Walt.
Quality with all due respect, your world's greatest meal is kind of lame. We're doing the actual world's greatest meal at our basically our barbecue test cook.
That's right.
Yeah, we have like 12 different kinds of barbecue. We'll have beverages.
We have Mark sausage.
And that's right, the sausage slammers, which cannot be beat. And we're expecting, of course, a huge crowd for that.
We'll have enough food probably for 150 people.
October
we get
20th.
100. October 20th, Sunday afternoon, my house. I'll send it all out. Please bring your friends. Okay, we'll ask everybody to we'll pass the hat, maybe 2 hats. I got like 12 cowboy hats. Okay, we'll pass them all if y'all fill them up with money. But we will have the food. It's a full-blown cook, just like it's going to be for the November 2 pig stock, and it's some fantastic. Even my daughter said best barbecue I've ever had, Dad. So please bring your friends, come out, invite everybody that you know. Come out. We can handle over 200. So, and we'll have food for everybody. And all we're going to do is pass the hat, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Lisa Daines is coming out. She and Sean, I can't remember his last name, are performing. We'll have live music from 4 o'clock on. Bluegrass and historic country. Actually, thank you. Where's Lisa? Lisa Simpson's not here. Lisa helped me set that up. They were there last time, so it's going to be a pretty big party, and we appreciate it if you come and bring friends.
Is there going to be dog fighting?
It depends on if Scout comes. I don't know. Scout may have had enough.
Save your $90 for next week, sir. I know there'll be
October 20th, Sunday afternoon.
pin-up demand for that. Yes, Judy? And bring canned goods. That's right, for Chris's box. Claudia, if you pull a ticket for
Okay.
our raffle.
You want me to say the number?
Please do. Nope.
Class 3069.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right, see you guys next week.